Hello everybody. In this video we're going to do another factor completely type of problem. We're starting off with a quadratic expression and we want to factor this thing. And to factor it completely means we're going to factor it until we can't factor it anymore. And so to do that we're going to start off by running through our checklist to see what our process is to fully factor this thing. So the first thing we always want to do is check to see if there's a GCF, a greatest common factor, from this in this entire quadratic. So maybe you see it, the greatest common factor. Yes, there is one, and it is a 6. So what we want to do first is we want to pull out the 6 from all of these terms. So when we pull out a 6, we're going to have left a v squared plus 11v plus 10. If you're not sure, if you're having some trouble still on this GCF stuff, be sure to check out the video that I did before about factoring polynomials just by factoring out GCFs. But this is what I'm left over here. So I've got the 6 on the outside, and then inside I still have a quadratic, and now I want to factor this even further. So again, double check that you've pulled out the greatest common factor. I can't pull anything out of here. We're going to go through our checklist. Number 2, is this thing a special quadratic? Well, it's not. Again, we'd be looking at the C term to see if this thing is a perfect square. And since it isn't, we're going to have to just end up factoring this thing as we would normally. So at this point, we're going to take a look at the B term and the C term of the quadratic that I have inside of these parentheses. So off to the side here, this is what I'm going to do in my little sidebar, is I'm going to play the Guess My Nums game. I'm looking for two numbers, and I want these two numbers to sum to 11, these two integers to sum to 11. That's my B term. And I want the product to equal 10. Now I want to point out here, I forgot to circle my plus sign with both of them, but we want to be sure that the sign of these terms carry through. So that's why I'm looking for a sum of positive 11 and a product of positive 10. So make sure you pay closer attention to that than I just did. So we're looking for these two numbers. The sum of these two numbers is 11. The product is 10. See if you can guess what they are. Go ahead and pause it if you want to take some time. And I'm going to tell you now that those numbers are positive 1 and positive 10. If you add them up, you'll get 11. If you multiply them together, you'll get 10. So what we're going to do then is we're going to take these two numbers here, and we're going to build my fully factored form. So this is going to equal, I have to keep that 6, the GCF is going to carry through, and now I can write this quadratic as the product of the factors x. I'm going to take this plus 1, and I'm going to take this plus 10 to give me a binomial of x plus 10. So if I multiplied this binomial times this binomial, I would get this trinomial, this quadratic. And then finally I could go one step further, and if I were to redistribute that 6, I would get back my 6v squared plus 66v plus 60. Now notice, every single step I have kept my equal sign, and I'm working downward. Every single one of these lines should equal the one before it. My goal here is to get to the fully factored form, to factor this thing completely. And since I cannot factor any of these binomials any further, I am done. So there you have it.